Hello everyone, welcome back to Batmania. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And it's time for the second and last Superman-Batman movie. It's Superman-Batman Apocalypse. And
this will basically be a blind commentary.
Yeah, well, sort of. I mean, I think I know it better than you do.
I saw it once, was like, that's not great. Never gonna watch that again.
Was this one we looked at when it came out?
No.
I don't think it was.
No. Yeah, we always talk about how it's a tradition, but there's a bunch of them we didn't do.
Well, I think it was before we started doing those regularly. Like, there's some we skipped just because it wasn't a tradition yet. Because this is still far enough back.
We start with Crisis on Two Earths. Well, though maybe it's not a tradition at that point. It just becomes...
but doesn't that post-date this?
I don't remember.
I have to look it up.
Because we also don't do Earth 1. Or not Earth 1, All-Star Superman. There's a bunch of them we don't.
Yeah, because this is what? 09, 2010? I'll look at my notes real quick. This is 2010.
I thought Crisis on Two Earths came out before this, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, it may have. Anyway, regardless of all of that,
yes.
Obviously it should just have Supergirl in the title, because this was an excuse to do Supergirl. It was an excuse to do the Dark Side and Apocalypse.
Well, in the comics, this is the big excuse to get rid of Matrix Supergirl, or maybe they'd already gotten rid of her, and bring in the Silver Age Supergirl.
Oh, is that what it was? Did
yes.
they still have Matrix at that point?
I
didn't know that.
I think they recently got rid of her to bring in Kara Zor-El.
Yeah.
That is the entire reason this story exists, is because they wanted normal Supergirl.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, post-Crisis, had we never had her?
No.
Okay, so at that point it would have made sense to do a straight-up origin, and this is the first time we've met you, and
yes.
That's kind of
because
cool.
we do Matrix, and Matrix merges with, is it Linda Danvers? The Peter David's run is...
I actually don't know that.
He's a merged,
because I still have never read that
character.
run.
I think she dies or something.
Okay.
Because she's an angel and it's all heaven and hell-y.
See, I love Supergirl, but I became a fan of that character much more recently.
In New 52, yes.
Yeah, so I that's my favorite version, but I haven't sucked my teeth into some other stuff. This is one of those things, I know I've said this to you several times with different things. You know what I'm going to say, right? Peter David's Supergirl, I had, and I sold it on eBay, because I just wasn't into Supergirl, and it didn't occur to me to keep it. Mm-hmm. And I'm kicking myself with some of the stuff, and most of it is Peter David stuff. Like, I got rid of, well, I mean, I guess I got rid of 90s Flash. I wish I hadn't done that. Mm-hmm. But I got rid of Jeff Johns Hulk, or not Jeff Johns, sorry. I got rid of Peter David Hulk, and I didn't have all of it, but I was really close. Mm-hmm. And I got rid of an entire run of this, Gur and Arg, of Supergirl, not this. One thing I want to complain about immediately that I'm sure I talked about in the rewind is the title actually doesn't really make sense. Is it called Apocalypse in the...
No, it's called Supergirl.
Okay, because the problem with the title is, it's only called Apocalypse because they go to the planet Apocalypse, but it's not spelled like this. There's not an actual apocalypse that happens. I mean, I guess Darkseid shows up, but they beat him on a farm. It's like, it doesn't really make sense to call it Apocalypse. It's not about an apocalypse.
Is Darkseid your Michael Ironside again? Is that a reprise?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, that's a We'll see it when we watch it. Okay. I know it's a voice I know.
Because Michael Ironside was in Superman and then Justice League.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, but that's who voices Darkseid.
That one I'm pretty sure was not a reprise. I thought it was...
And obviously Supergirl's not a reprise. I don't know who voiced Supergirl in Superman.
Yeah, I don't either. No, it's Summer Glau here, which was an okay casting choice.
Yeah.
But she's just not written well on the page, so what's she going to do with it? But I guess we'll get into it. We'll talk about all that stuff as we're seeing it. Like I said, I'm expecting a lot of this to come back to me because I wrote a kind of surprisingly thorough and lengthy analysis of this movie. I think it clocks close to half an hour. And I remember having... a lot of my positives had to do with some of the Apocalypse stuff and... not the word apocalypse, but on the planet, and Big Barda. I love Big Barda. I kind of like their...
I don't remember Big Barda in here, but I love Big Barda.
The big thing I remember really liking is that she has the like 60s Batgirl thing, the 60s Batman Batgirl thing, where she has the thing in her house that flips around, and now it's the Barda suit, and she can go out and be a superhero with it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So there's a couple sparks of nifty.
I think that's a comic thing. Not just like this arc, because I never read this arc, but I think that's...
Is it really?
I think her and Scott have that. I know Big Barda from Justice League International. That's
Okay.
where I come to love both of those characters, really, because
Interesting. I'm not familiar with her at all.
Mr. Miracle is on Justice League International, and she's kind of the doting housewife who's annoyed that she doesn't see her husband enough because he's always away at work, so she just joins the Justice League to spend more time with her husband, and she's awesome.
That's fun. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. If you want to watch it with us, get your DVD or Blu-ray, however you want to watch it. Get it past all the menus to timestamp 0. This is yet another one of those that has like a 6-second nothing thing before you get into the actual file with the whole movie, so make sure you get it past that and get ready to press play as soon as I say now. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
You know, they always put these FBI warnings in front of in front of legal copies. Have they thought about putting the FBI warnings in front of illegal copies?
Why does this have Thai subtitles?
Supergirl's huge in Thailand.
Really?
I have no idea.
Like, sometimes these get so random, right? You've got English, Portuguese, Spanish, and Thai. Wouldn't you think that everything would have French?
French and Spanish would be the two big ones I would think everything would have.
And then, I wish we saw German more often. Just because, I mean, like, I know that that's a language that, you know, I've had to deal with some, and so I would like to see it, because I don't speak it, but I know some words and things. But the main reason I'm saying that is because you have not one, but a few countries in Europe that speak that language. You'd think we'd see it more often.
I was watching something the other day that the volume was a little too low. I didn't want to get up and, like, turn up the volume, so went to put on the subtitles. Only French subtitles.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's not Batman, it's a gargoyle. Very clever. You got me. And Blimps in Gotham again.
Yay!
Back
Blimps
to
in
back.
Gotham.
2 Blimps in Gotham.
I was like that.
Or 2 movies with Blimps in Gotham.
It looks like a Batman movie. Because we're doing a Batman thing, and it doesn't look like a Superman
strip club
movie yet.
or adult store that instead of XXX, it looked like it was ZZZ, and that could be kind of fun, like Zor-El, like maybe that's something there, just intentional.
Weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no other reason to do it. It's a PG-13 movie. You can just have that. There's no reason to censor it. So that opening newscast thing is the only thing that ties it to the previous film. They want to get a mention of Lex in there real quick, just so that you know that these movies are tied together.
Because it's a completely different art style. It doesn't look like it's part of the same universe.
Yeah, and I mean, like, otherwise, yeah, I mean, it wasn't really sold as a Superman-Batman thing. I mean, it was, but as they didn't make a big deal out of, we're doing another one in this line, and you know, this is easy to watch by itself. But I guess I appreciate that it at least tells me that they're supposed to be in the same world, so that I'm not wondering about it and fixated on it while I'm trying to enjoy this movie.
This one is trying to approximate the art style of Michael Turner, who is known largely for drawing some of the most attractive women in comics. He comes up through Top Cow. He's a Witchblade artist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He also does the covers for Identity Crisis. Much less effectively, I think, than what we did last year or last film.
Yeah, because we liked what that looked like a lot.
Yeah. His Ed McGuinness's art style translates to animation, I think, a lot better than Michael Turner's. Michael Turner's is, I don't know how to, like, I wouldn't call it super detailed, but it's more, there's a lot of lines going on.
And even though this is in the same continuity, I don't want to say it should have been the same art style, because it's not the same tone of that movie either. Mm-hmm. Like that movie has this kind of big bombastic sense of fun about it, regardless, as we said before, of the kind of heavier political thematic stuff. But this movie is just not about the same things. And the Batman Superman ideologies are put much more against each other in this movie than in that. And so I guess it builds on that in a way, but...
Is Supergirl in this typecasting for Summer Glau?
What? Oh, yes! Yes, and I talked about that in the rewind! Yes, she is! Go ahead and explain what you mean about that.
Well, just that she shows up, she doesn't really have any memories, she's this very attractive naked girl.
Yeah. She's dangerous.
Yeah, she's really dangerous.
It's really hard for her to find herself because she doesn't know what she's about.
She's very much River.
Yeah.
Also, like...
And her Terminator's not
that's what I was
horribly
gonna say.
far away
That's
from
what I was
that.
going to say. One day I'm going to finish
We
watching
need to watch
that.
that. Me too! Because I've only seen the first season.
And I didn't finish the first season. I've seen the first
adored it. I don't know about you. I adored that
I
show.
liked what I watched of it, and I don't remember why I didn't go back and finish it. Probably because the show got canceled. I think I started watching season 1, and then season 2 got canceled.
That's the reason I never finished
like,
Dollhouse. And I thought Dollhouse suddenly got good, and then I didn't finish watching it.
That's an interesting bat costume.
It is. I can't say that I like or dislike it. I'm indifferent toward that.
Because usually
costume.
it's just a bat costume with like scuba gear, but that was like a scuba bat suit.
Yeah, this is immediately carving out its own very distinct tone from that last one, which I respect a lot.
I appreciate a basically dialogueless opening.
But I don't know why. Yeah, and not some big giant fight scene that's not going to have anything to do with the rest of the movie. I can't remember if we then, after this, do one of those.
I'm sure we do.
I'm
I
pretty
remember
sure
she's
do.
in an alleyway and she gets attacked and she fights them. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
These are cool credits.
Yeah, I remember liking these a lot.
At some point, we should have just started adding to the credits. And of course, voice directed by Andrea Romano.
Yeah. I want the credits one time to say, think of another voice director.
So
no, really, try. Think of one.
These are all of the Kryptonian symbol, or like these are a bunch of Kryptonian symbols.
Right. I'm a huge fan of the Krypton language from Smallville and love that we kept using it. For the longest time, I thought it predated Smallville. They invented it there. And then we kept using it, and it really kind of hurt my feelings that we didn't keep using it through Man of Steel, though I like the idea of their language. I just think it's become so universal.
Yeah. One of my favorite like complaints I've ever heard, like fan complaints about something, is with the like we've all complained about like there's too much fan service here, like and that kind of thing, is people complaining about things being written in Kryptonian. Like, we get it, you have a whole language, you'll need to write. I'm like, that's so weird. Although I do think sometimes they put like messages on like in the backgrounds of scenes in comics and stuff like that.
Even if you feel like you need Batman and or Superman's names in the title to sell your movie, it is really weird that Supergirl's name is not in this title.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really weird. But it also, if you called it Supergirl, first of all, it would feel like it doesn't have a title. It would feel like Batman, Superman, and Supergirl.
Yeah.
But it's not something I think would draw anybody's eye. Like Apocalypse, this is at least a word.
Not then, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, she stands on her own a lot more now because she's had a somewhat successful TV show.
Yeah. Like Apocalypse is...
And because female superheroes are all the rage right now. Like, there is a contingency of the population that is just excited to see recognizable female superheroes, or even female superheroes in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see us come back and do maybe an animated superhero movie that is just her. But I also like us to see a Green Arrow movie. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can do.
Flash, Green Arrow, and Supergirl. I don't know how we're not attempting. We know they've got a script sitting around for Quiver.
Well, and finally, we've done 2 Teen Titans movies. It's time. We don't need Justice League or Batman or Superman in the titles anymore.
Yeah.
So that opening is just Terminator, right?
Yes.
Which is hilarious because she's Terminator, because she's a Terminator. But yeah, dare I say, I wouldn't mind another Supergirl origin movie just because I think there's a lot of different ways to do that, and I'd like to see 52 adapted.
Yeah, because you really like that.
And I know I'm really into that stuff, but not everybody is. But and she has a similar thing in this, in that like she's, if memory serves, she's got a little bit of that kind of like anger about losing Krypton that 52 Supergirl does, but I don't remember. I don't remember how long it takes her to remember all that stuff. The idea of Batman and Supergirl and Superman as her surrogate parents, I like a lot, and I wish the movie was about that. They get taken out of the movie.
Superman, Batman, Parenthood.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, they're throwing way too much in the background. It really should still be their movie with her at the center of it, where it's like, what do Batman and Superman do when they have to help together raise this Kryptonian girl, and how do you put those two ideologies together? That was what I... And if you think about it, that kind of ends up looking like... You can use that as sort of a metaphor for two parents that have different, like sets of politics or different religions, or, you know, like, how do they raise kids together? They come to the same place, but they look at the world very differently. And I think we lose that too much when we take her to Themyscira and we do the whole... See, it's all coming back to me now. And we make her, you know, in Amazon, essentially.
Well, yeah, because now you have a third person that doesn't fit that metaphor.
Yeah.
Once you give her to Wonder Woman, what is that, school? Like, how's that track in that metaphor?
That's interesting, yeah. And I mean, you can make the argument, well, she's going to need a female role model.
Sure.
But I kind of want to see these guys try it first, you know, before that's brought in.
Yeah, have it not work and have Wonder Woman show up like, why didn't you bring her to me?
I'm not liking the character models as much as last movie.
Their mouths are awful.
Yeah, and I remember complaining about that. But the action has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think, dare I say, they're integrating the CG vehicles a little better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, his lips look awful.
Yeah. She doesn't look so bad.
It's the eyes. The eyes are great.
Yeah. And she's got a kind of an anime sensibility about the design of her face.
Batman would have felt really dumb if he would have been really embarrassed if he tried to use that kryptonite on her and it turned out that it wasn't a kryptonite, it was just somebody that had, like, similar powers.
Or if it was Matrix Supergirl and she just didn't... It doesn't affect her at all. Why are you preparing to scan? Just scan!
I wish we were doing...
I hit the scan button!
I wish the Death of Superman movie they're making was done straight so we could finally get Matrix Supergirl on screen and do that hilarious panel where she gets punched in the face and it's just body.
I have mixed feelings about Matrix Supergirl. Like, I love her because I grew up with her and, like, that's... I have no idea how you ever make that work in anything.
Me too.
Because it's so, like... Okay, we have these rules.
It was of its time.
There can't be any other Kryptonians. He has to be the last son of Krypton. But we want to do Supergirl. How do we do it?
And that was about the best
And I don't think that's hard. Another planet. Just not Kryptonian. Right? Like, say another planet from the same solar system or something. Just, if the only
you can make
rule...
her a Daxamite. You could do the Mon-El thing.
Mm-hmm. If the only rule is cannot be from Krypton, just pick a neighboring planet.
Yeah, I mean, we got around it. It's Kara. It's Kara Zor-El, Superman. Everyone knows that now. No, I'm kidding. Is that a thing that anybody ever cared about pre the Supergirl TV show? Because they make a big deal out of it in Supergirl, where they're like, we came down on a pronunciation, that's what she's called. And then we make a joke about it with Cat Grant, where she keeps calling her Kara, just condescendingly.
Yeah, I don't know. Supergirl's not really a character I followed a lot, so, like, I don't know.
What's weird about Kara, or Kara, regardless of how you pronounce it, is it's not an alien name.
No.
Like, we have that here.
Yeah.
I've known a number of girls named Kara or Kara, and I think it goes back and forth. Like, I'm not even sure that Kara is the more alien type pronunciation. I could be wrong about that.
To what? Well, I guess they gave her some clothes.
Batman, speak English. See, you want more of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this should be the movie. It's just...
So how
it should be a domestic thing.
How do you feel about the kind of scorched earth policy of there can be no Kryptonians except for Superman? Because it's a complete backlash to where we were right before that, where, like, it seems like the whole planet survived. There's all these evil Kryptonians.
Well, and we've lived in that world so long now, it's hard to even have an opinion about it, because I've seen and done both. I get the logic on both sides. Where the conflict comes for me is, as I've said a lot of times before, I think I'm almost more of a fan of Krypton than I am of Superman. So the more you do Kryptonians, the more I get mythology about it. Mm-hmm. But I would almost rather just go back in time and look at Krypton, which is why I want to be excited about the Sci-Fi Krypton show. But then I get the other side where it's like, if Superman is surrounded by Kryptonians and that influences him too much, is he enough of a product of Earth and of us like he should be? Mm-hmm. And so he needs to grow up without it and then find it later, and then I think it's fine. I don't know why it's so important to not have Krypton anything.
I think because it takes away his specialness.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I think Supergirl's okay. I think you can do Krypto. I much prefer Krypto when he's just his dog.
I just don't want him everywhere.
Like
I wouldn't have wanted. Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted the new Krypton status quo to be there for too long. But like, having just a bad guy, having just Zod or something, I'm kind of fine with.
Yeah, pick one. Do Zod or Jaxer. Just pick one of them. You get that. You get Supergirl. I don't mind there being I don't need him to be the last son.
Yeah.
Period. But I don't want a lot of Kryptonians running around.
You don't want a whole planet of them.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with something like Bottle City of Kandor is there, and so if you want to occasionally bring something from that, you can come up with an excuse to go back to the city. I think it's interesting to do the thing where you grow the city back again, and then it's there for a while. You know, that guy. Like, there's fun things to do with Krypton.
I like Bottle City of Kandor.
It should be like Q, though. You should use it sparingly. You just occasionally go in and
I like Kandor as Superman's great failure, the thing he can never solve.
That's true too.
But Kandor comes late for me because it's not in Superman the Animated Series, so it's not part of my Superman foundation. It's also not Lois and Clark.
Well, and neither is Zod and a bunch of other stuff too. They use Jaxer, if memory serves.
Yeah, well, but I mean, at least Zod is in the Superman films. Like, Kandor's also not in the Superman film. Like, just none of my foundational Superman stuff has Kandor. And the 90s Superman comics don't have Kandor.
Oh, okay. So no, she's got her history immediately.
That's called space.
But yeah, what makes Supergirl inherently interesting is that she was raised by Kryptonians and isn't an Earthling at all. And I just think there's a whole lot of interesting things you can do with that. She's kind of a living what if for Superman. Where what might he be like if he was actually raised by his parents?
Does the TV show do the version of her origin where she's sent to protect him and something gets in the way?
Yes.
And she shows up? I like that idea.
I do too.
I like the idea of leaving as the older guardian.
He's already older than her.
Yeah, and he has to raise.
And so she's in this weird place where she thinks of herself as almost like an older sister, but she's not at all. And he's already fully established himself as Superman before she even has a chance to do anything.
Okay, I'm going to complain about something really dumb and minor, but I'm going to complain about it anyways.
Is that a football field?
Yeah, it looks like a football field. A gladiatorial arena, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
The perspective on that planet, because, is that Angela?
Whoa, that does look like Angela, yeah. Wow, even from behind, it looks like Angela. And she's got the same color hair, and, okay, well, that's distracting. Sorry, go ahead.
We saw Darkseid, and we had the like that. Yeah, it's just.
Look at the thing on her head. She's Angela. How did I think of that before? She's generic looking. You know what she is? Sorry, she's like a Mexican toy company offshoot of Angela.
I was gonna say Angela before she got redesigned by Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
She's 60s Angela.
Yeah, she's like if somebody made an off-brand Angela for and you got it at $1 at the dollar store. That's Angela.
These characters, I forget what their names are, but my first introduction to them is obviously Superman the Animated Series. Anyways, so Apocalypse. We see Apocalypse, and there's the plumes of fire coming out of Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
But they're so large, the perspective seems off, because they would have to be the shape of the size of countries, because it's not a bunch of small ones. It's 4 really big ones. They're like Death Star laser size.
Well, I wasn't sure how far back we were in the perspective.
I don't know. Like, it was just really weird perspective. She looks like...
so I guess this is our big opening fight for the sake of having a fight.
Setting up the villains.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm just saying that, like, it's a little late, but we got one in here, you know, like... But you're right, it's not about this movie.
Now.
Sorry, sorry, go ahead.
The one with green hair, that one, she looks like the Jackal. Not Jackal, Creeper. She looks like the Creeper.
Yes.
That's not a great Darkseid, boys.
Yeah, what I was trying to remember was where Tony Todd does it, because I feel like Tony Todd voiced him once. I'm almost positive, I just can't remember which movie it is, but one of these animated things I thought Tony Todd did at Darkseid.
I don't know.
I'll look it up, because I remember being excited about it, and then he doesn't get to talk much.
Ed Asner reprises Grand Goodness, which is one of the weirdest casting choices that is perfect.
That works perfectly, yeah. It's so it's nuts to think that anybody even thought of that, and that's why Andrea Romano is a genius.
It's a little weird that we're doing...
I mean, not always. There are certain casting choices I haven't liked.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. It's a little weird that we're picking and choosing who we're bringing back, voice cast-wise. Like, Summer Glau's kind of stunt casting, but it's also weird that we didn't try and get the girl who voiced her in the Superman animated series if we're going to bring back Ed Asner.
Yeah, we also brought back... last movie we brought back the Lex voice.
Yeah. You know who I don't think has come back that I'd like to see come back?
Who's that?
Is it Dana Delaney? Is she who does Lois?
Yeah.
I love her.
I thought she came back one time,
She is my favorite Lois.
I guess I'm wrong. Why did I think Tony Todd did Darkseid somewhere?
I don't know.
I thought he did. Well, anyway. There have been so many of these things, I just can't keep it all straight anymore.
Those are really circular glasses.
Okay, sometimes the eyes work, and sometimes they're way too kind of doughy. I don't know.
I think she adjusts really, really quickly.
That's
Old
true,
Blue,
she does. I guess she doesn't have the anger thing that 52 does. And there's a montage here that I remember just loathing.
They're not the Old Navy, they're at Old Blue.
And I remember thinking they went a little bit too far in trying to make her kind of overly girly. I want to know how this translates to Krypton. I want to know if women on Krypton are the same kind of fashion obsessed as the stereotypical woman in our society. Like, she already has a real obvious fashion sense. Like, she should be terrible at it initially, right?
Well,
like,
I think because we see her lips are so red already, she does not need lipstick. I thought she was wearing lipstick in the first place. I think what we're supposed to get from her looking at girls around her is that she's trying to emulate.
Yeah.
What I don't get is she has no understanding of the concept of money, but she understands shopping spree. And I don't...
This is foreshadowing. Because when she gets brainwashed by Darkseid, she's going to be wearing skimpy black scary clothes.
And it looks like a bathing suit, not that does not look like clothes. That looks like a bathing suit. Like, I've seen that bathing suit in, like, James Bond movies.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I've seen that as kind of like an outfit.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want more, like, specific personal details about her. I wanted to talk about Krypton more. She's just too stereotypical.
Am I wrong? Like, if you had a hot dog stand, there's a picture of a dog in a bun, like a wiener, like no one would eat there.
It's like the way in which she's alien is just the obvious stuff of she doesn't know how things work and.
Mm-hmm. And Batman should have been there.
Yeah.
He should have been in that montage.
So I remember being more irritated about that montage the last time I watched this.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
I saw it coming.
Well, yeah.
So I'm trying to remember now, there's about to be a big fight here, and I think there's a Superman statue, and I remember wondering if I'm right about this. I might be remembering this totally wrong. If there's a Superman statue, like I seem to remember wondering if it was there because like Death of Superman happened, or if it didn't, they don't really talk about it.
So she has this thing that's
there it is. And see, and then that's why I wondered about it, because that is the Death of Superman statue with the eagle. Like,
yeah.
That's why I wanted them to mention it, and that's why it's one of those things that makes you go, it's like the comics happened, but this is in its own world, so I need you to say these things. Sorry.
She has this thing that's generally, I want to say I've generally seen it in anime, but I think I've seen it in some American animation too, where the nose has this line here that never goes away. No matter what perspective you look at, there's just this line. Sometimes it's like a brown line. It's really weird. It almost looks like every character's a bruise. But in this movie, it seems to just be her. Maybe it's all the girls. I'll have to pay more attention. But she's just got this line across her nose that's really weird and distracting for me. Just because it's a design choice I don't like in other animated styles. You're Supergirl!
So yeah, she's going to have to start being a little bit more careful about using his Kryptonian name in public, because the public probably knows that that's associated with Superman.
Do they?
Much of the time we do that. Not always, but...
Yeah.
I mean, there's no... Superman usually says he comes from Krypton, and there's really no reason for him to keep that to keep his birth name a secret.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't tell anybody he's Clark Kent. Unless somebody goes around and calls him Cal when he's Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Again, I think a lot of his action works.
Even then, Cal could be short for Calvin, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So Wonder Woman just shows up, and we haven't seen Batman since she showed up.
Yeah.
That's a weird choice.
I wonder if that's part of why we opened it to make it look like a Batman movie, because he's not in this enough.
Mm-hmm. If this is Superman Wonder Woman, like, that would be fine.
Yeah.
If you just, Wonder Woman obviously has to be there earlier, but it's not a Superman Batman movie.
That would also be interesting. I don't think it's quite as interesting. But then again, we do often... I mean, I think Wonder Woman's ideology gets a lot broader. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways of doing that. You see a Wonder Woman that is closer to Batman sometimes. You see a Wonder Woman that's closer to Superman sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on how you play her, she can be... she can be made... Oh, you're right. There is that line. Okay, here's the thing. I think the idea is it's supposed to be a... No, when it's close-up, it works. It's supposed to give it 3 dimensions.
Well, it's weird if you don't do it with the male characters. Or seemingly any other character.
I think it's just to make it, like, the shape of her nose. I don't know. Where, like, she just has a different shape of her nose, because, I don't know.
Well yeah, because you can do Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman as kind of a triad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I'm just saying, like sometimes you have a Wonder Woman that's more extreme and more okay with killing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which I think makes perfect sense, coming from a warrior culture.
Of course.
And, like, killing monsters and stuff. Like, the idea that Wonder Woman would be opposed to killing seems to only exist because of comic book censorship.
And I think you can have the, like, really idealistic Wonder Woman that expects people to generally be good, and is also still okay with killing the ones that aren't, when it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that can make her a midpoint, again. That's one of the big things that can make her a midpoint between Superman and Batman. Because we go back and forth with that with different versions of Superman too, where sometimes he refuses to kill in any circumstance whatsoever, and sometimes he'll do it when it's the very, very last resort.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, we act a lot.
And Batman is almost always the I refuse to kill because of what it might do to me.
We like to impose Batman's no killing ideology on all superheroes, and we act like it's weird when anyone kills. I'm like, no, I don't have a problem believing like Green Arrow kills people, or that Wonder Woman kills people, or even Superman. Like, I'm not saying they should be killing willy-nilly, but like, I don't think it's a line that cannot be crossed for most superheroes like it is for Batman.
Well, and that's the thing we do in way too many TV shows, especially, where we say, like once you kill, you can't come back from that. Doesn't that depend on the circumstance? And maybe I sound like a really cynical person by saying that. If I had to, even in self-defense, kill someone, yes, it would change me in some way. But the idea that, like, I couldn't come back from it, like, now I'm a bad person...
Or that you just kill everyone
like, revenge,
from that point
okay,
moving forward.
But Sometimes we act like just no matter what the circumstance is.
Yeah, like
that's a magical turning point that there's no coming back from.
And like,
I don't know about that. It's the thing I'm questioning.
Like the idea that Batman has that like if he's put in a situation where he kills the Joker, like it'll change him and he'll be like, and then why don't I kill the Riddler? And why don't I kill
It's
Two-Face?
different for him because he wants to do that.
And he's obsessive. He's a very specific personality type
exactly.
that I think could be pushed over.
When Superman refuses to kill, it's because it's an ideal in the first place. With Batman, and he can become an ideal with Batman, but it initially comes from a personal place.
And no killing gets weird anytime a conflict gets large enough. Like,
yeah,
when we have full-scale war across the planet from alien invaders, the rules just go out the window. You can just kill all of them. Really, killing depends on how much of a character the bad guy is.
Yeah.
If you're a minion, killing's totally okay. But you can kill your way to the villain and then get to the villain and be like, I can't kill you. I'm going to take the high ground here. Her costume is really, like, does not mesh with everyone else's costume, right? Like, that looks like it's from an alien world.
Or just a slightly different era?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose. But I think it's more the colors before it's anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but I cried afterwards and fallen to my knees.
Oh, and I remember the Harbinger thing being weird, but I can't remember exactly why. Like, that ends up being a big tragic death, and she and Supergirl are friends, and if memory serves. But hopefully, while we're talking over this, I'll still notice what my issue was with that. I've reviewed this already. I don't have to review it again.
Batman and Superman look like they need lipstick.
And then she just has such red lips.
Like, they look like they have lips that really be accentuated by lipstick. Although all the girls have lips like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're wearing lipstick. I don't know.
That's what girl lips look like, Eric. Didn't you know that? I don't know why we have lipstick, because women just are born with lipstick. Did you know that? That's what they look like.
Well, it makes sense if you made other colors. Like, to put red over those lips, that's weird.
Yeah, and didn't you ever notice that men just have, like, the most pale lips?
They only, like, kind of exist by, like, lines that just kind of slightly suggest they exist.
Yeah. When your little kid asks you what the difference between boys and girls are, it's really, you don't have to go any farther than that. It's lips. Just look at the lips, you can tell the difference between boys and girls.
Yep.
Should I use that?
So they're Kara all over the place.
If Freddie ever asked me that question, finally, if he's ever like, Dad, I don't understand what's the difference between boys and girls, it'd just be like lips.
Honestly,
that's the difference.
I don't think you're ever going to have that conversation with Freddie. Jason either.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But no, everyone's calling her Kara.
Kara.
We're just Kara here.
Yep.
That's probably like a Raj Raish thing, where it's just sometimes pronounced.
I don't think it. Yeah, but not in the sense that anybody's arguing about it at this point.
Yeah.
So I think it was completely arbitrary until the TV show decided to come down on it.
Mm-hmm. Make a big deal out of it.
And draw attention to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is the Army of Doomsdays, right?
Army of Doomsdays?
Yeah,
Oh.
Army of Doomsdays.
I don't remember this at all.
Do you not?
Nope, but,
Jeff Loeb had a thing for Doomsday.
I was going to say, it doesn't surprise me because it's Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, there's a Kryptonite Doomsday in Search for Kryptonite. A giant Kryptonite Doomsday.
Well,
which shouldn't be possible to...
Shouldn't he just immediately die of cancer?
Yeah. And so it's
Which
weird,
monster?
It's really weird. Yeah, it's really weird that we go ahead and do this, even if it was in the book, and I'm sure it was. It's funny. I ended up getting this recently. Somebody gave me this for Christmas or something. I haven't read it yet, but it's weird because if memory serves, we don't really reference Death of Superman at all in this.
Well, there was the statue. Maybe that's supposed to be a nod, if you know what it is.
But you can't have just a nod. Someone has to come out and say, Doomsday killed Superman.
I died for your sins, and I came back.
And if they're supposed to... Because here's the thing. The reason you do an Army of Doomsday is because that should be really difficult to kill.
Mm-hmm. And Batman should just peace out.
Yeah.
He has no place in this fight.
I mean, Superman couldn't take on one by himself.
Mm-hmm.
or even with some other superheroes helping him, in the comics anyway. And so when you do this, it's awkward because a lot of people know who Doomsday is, of course, even if they haven't read Death of Superman, but he's been portrayed, you know, in another of their movies that's not canon with this, and in Justice League in a couple of places. You really need to come out and talk about what he is and why it's a big deal, because it just looks like a bunch of monsters.
Okay,
otherwise.
So
there's no weight to this, is what I'm saying.
I don't know what Wonder Woman was doing during Death of Superman.
I don't either.
Superman and Wonder Woman are comparable.
I know some
powered.
of them were off-world, and maybe she was.
Okay, that's fair. But Superman and Wonder Woman are this applies every time Doomsday shows up.
Because everyone's at the funeral.
Yeah. This applies to every time Doomsday shows up, and it's like, oh my god, Superman has to fight Doomsday. Well, Superman and Wonder Woman are comparably powered. Which means that all Amazons must be comparably powerful to Superman, because she's not picked because she's the strongest. They have that contest. So they're all around her strength and ability. As warriors. Why don't they just get an army of Amazonians and then take down Doomsday?
Well, now to be fair, she doesn't initially seem to be special, but we do versions of her where she realizes more of a power set later. The movie does that.
Yeah, the movie does do that.
That's how we get around that. I assume that comes from a place, and that's not just that movie.
But usually...
But I don't know Wonder Woman very well. But I really like that in the movie where it's like, oh no, she's actually part goddess.
But the movie also does away with the contest. Most interpretations, I think, until recently, always have that contest.
Sure, but can she fly during the contest, or is that a power she gets later?
It depends on whether it comes from her costume or not. Because they are flying. We saw that one woman fly away. We saw that one woman fly away with Supergirl. So they are flying. It's not just Wonder Woman that can do that. But the way I've always understood Wonder Woman's origin is that the only thing that makes her special, other than that she won the contest, when she goes to Man's World, is she's got the tiara, and she's got the bracelets, and she's got the whip. Like, you get that stuff. But other than that, everyone else is comparable to her. They're all warriors. They all competed for Wonder Woman's position.
So they straight up skewer these Doomsdays, and I remember in the commentary wondering if maybe, or the commentary in the rewind, wondering if maybe it should have been at least a conversation after this happens about it, because like yes, if it's necessary, Superman might feel the need to kill things and people, but like, again, what is Doomsday? Like, if it's a sentient life...
Oh, there's a conversation here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Has Superman ever before or
I don't remember
what
exactly I said about it in the rewind. So.
Been able to make his heat vision
that's way too easy. And like, how did he get killed by Doomsday?
I bet that was a beautiful
but
shot.
wait, I don't know if he did in this. So whatever. They don't even call him Doomsday. It's just a big monster army.
If it was Doomsday,
that I noticed,
they should all just respawn immediately and then be immune to heat vision, because that's how Doomsday works.
Yeah. That's a thing we like to conveniently forget sometimes, and I don't always know if we've retconned that and stuff and so on. I forget, is she Harbinger and like
maybe
she saw her own death?
Because she was the one in the other costume, I think, that flew away with Supergirl, because she looks like Supergirl. She looks like Supergirl, but like 5 years in the future.
I think part of the reason they made her look like that, unless that's a comic character and she looks like that in the comics, I don't know, is so that they could make that shot where he picks her up look like kind of a nod to Crisis.
Oh, yes.
Because that might have been used in the advertising, I can't remember.
That iconic Crisis image is made really unfortunate by the fact that she's the headband Supergirl.
Yeah.
We always change that whenever we recreate that cover, but it's headband Supergirl.
Headband Supergirl, yeah.
Jazzercise Supergirl.
We probably talked about this before, but do you have a favorite Supergirl costume, or are you kind of...
No, like, my immediate gut instinct is the 90s costume, the white, like, top.
Yeah.
But that's just because that's what I grew up with.
Sure.
I like the classic Supergirl costume. I like it with the skirt.
Yeah, I don't know if you cared or if you were indifferent.
I don't. Nothing, like, immediately jumps out to me.
Once again, my favorite is 52. I'm very predictable.
And while
that costume's amazing. And I love that ass a lot. The kind of jagged one. I like that ass a lot.
I like Superman's S to be smaller. I don't like a Superman with an S across his chest. I like Supergirl with a really big ass. That's my only design.
Any particular reason?
I just think it looks better, I guess.
Strange.
I like Superman with the smaller S. It's why I like it's one of the design choices I liked in Superman Returns. A lot of people don't like.
So again, this is a if memory serves thing, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. You have Batman being paranoid at the beginning, but they don't play it as paranoia really, where he's like, how did she just show up now? It's what a weird coincidence. There must be something else going on. I'm pretty sure that never comes back, and there isn't anything else going on. And Darkseid just shows up. I mean, like we just see him dealing with her now. It seems almost like they were setting up a thing where like maybe she had already gotten grabbed by Darkseid or someone and sent here, but that doesn't seem to be what's going on.
And maybe that comes back in the comic, because I do know that's one of those runs where like each arc is standalone, but it's kind of building to something.
Yeah.
Which is why in Public Enemies you out of nowhere have old Superman shows up in Batman's in the Batcave. Because that's building to something.
This is Barda.
You're the one that answered the door just out of the shower. Like, they didn't, like, go into her house, like, waiting in her bedroom for her to come out of the shower. Like, they knocked on the door.
I think she's referring to the fact that they come in
in full costume. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of weird. Because she just says, this isn't what I expected. She didn't say it's weird that it's broad daylight or whatever. Yeah. She's just like, you guys, well, I guess...
I didn't expect you to show up as Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's supposed to be a nod towards Scott. Mr. Miracle's name's Scott Free.
That seems like a stretch to me.
Okay.
Because she was also... I mean, she was in the spot Supergirl's in now.
Yeah. I'm also interested to know if Scott's here referenced in the comic, because I think she's just single and alone here. Like, I don't think... Because they've been married since the 80s in the comics.
Oh yeah, her costume and stuff is behind her big TV. And by exploit her weaknesses, you mean brainwash her.
Yeah.
That's just so not interesting. And that was my big negative takeaway from this movie is, this is a really impressionable girl. Wouldn't it have been a lot more interesting if somehow Darkseid was actually able to get under her skin emotionally?
Yeah, what you needed was what we remembered this movie being, which is she shows up and she's violent, she has a dark side.
Yeah.
And
there's not enough to her.
And then Darkseid appeals to that dark side.
Yeah, sure. No, that's cool that he's like the living embodiment of her actual dark side. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love Barda's costume.
Me too.
I think it might be my favorite female character Jack Kirby designed. It shouldn't
so I guess
work.
it's just the weapons and stuff that
it's
are behind
so busy. Oh, there's Scott's outfit.
Oh, wait. Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah, it's on the left is Mr. Miracle's costume.
Okay, right.
It's so busy, it shouldn't work, but it totally does.
Yeah, why is Batman in this movie?
I don't know! What's he gonna do on Apocalypse? Nothing.
Well, not even that, really. Like, cause...
Take his costume, his bat symbol off. Or his mask, his bat symbol off.
But again, he would have a reason to be here more if we bought him as a surrogate parent for a while.
Mm.
I think it would have been more interesting if this movie opened with a almost like domestic status quo, where they've been taking care of her for a while. You know, just open this movie with like the ship crash and then some time passes, right? I mean,
yeah.
I guess the problem with that is, as a Superman Batman movie, okay, where was she last movie? But if this was its own standalone thing, that would be the way to do that. And all you have to do is say, we found her at this particular point.
We've been talking over this, so like I don't know if I missed something. What's the big cannon-looking thing, or maybe giant water bottle, that Batman has strapped to his back?
I forget now. He does something with that.
Hey, there's parademons.
Yeah.
And they're not, like, just black. Because parademons wear green and gold outfits.
See, I wasn't even really aware of parademons as a thing before New 52 because they shoved them in her face so much. Like, they were just these creatures that were on Apocalypse that I never even thought to name or anything. They were like...
There's a parademon who hangs out with who's a major part of the Secret Six.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That has like a personality and stuff?
Yeah, and like he dies, and Ragdoll's like really obsessed with him, and
Does
keeps
he talk?
I think so.
I thought
It's been a while since I read
parademons were
Secret
sort of
Six.
just animals.
No, they're like genetically bred soldiers.
Really?
I can't remember if he talks or not, but Ragdoll
Well, I
loves
mean, I get that
him.
they're soldiers, but I thought that they would work more like pets than anything. Like,
Maybe that's how he treats him. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But he hangs out with.
I mean, obviously these parademons are running technology, but
with the Secret Six and
tanks and stuff.
And he dies, and Ragdoll keeps him stuffed in his room. Like taxidermy. Like he stuffed his best friend and put him in his room. Secret Six is amazing. Everyone needs to read Secret Six.
There's always stuff that really obscure stuff you go to that I am not remotely aware of. I mean, Secret Six isn't super obscure or anything, but
It probably is at this point, but it wasn't. Like when you got into comics, Secret Six was going.
when I got into comics, it's so weird. When I got into comics, there were all these things that people were really into that no one talks about anymore. You have this whole like Green Lantern contingency of YouTubers that are just gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was talking about Catman. Nobody talks about Catman anymore.
That's Secret
from
Six.
Secret Six. I know,
Yeah.
that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
No, I'm aware of that, but I'm just saying, like, because Secret Six wasn't obscure yet, everyone was talking about Catman.
Yeah, but remember, 52 is like 5 years ago.
6.
6 years
Going
ago.
on 7 now, yeah.
Like, oh, it's like a jetpack thing. This isn't silly. It's Orion's. It's
Yeah.
That's the
That's right.
What's it called? It's got a name because
I don't
it's
know.
kind of like the Power Cosmic. It's like the Astro Force or something like that.
But what I was going to say is, at the same time, then over at Marvel, again, all these people that were talking about Sentry, like, it was just a real different time.
Yeah, but everyone hated Sentry, and he died. We kept him dead because everyone hated him except for
I don't know.
Brian Michael Bendis.
I knew people on YouTube that were
Really?
really into Sentry, yeah.
Really?
You always say that. I don't know what you're talking about. There was like a Sentry fandom for a second.
That's very interesting. You know, there's a lot of stuff that was real popular that just kind of fell away.
Just fell away, yeah.
Blue Beetle's
Right
kind of
around
like
Blackest Night.
that.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
DC keeps like trying to make Blue Beetle a thing, and he's never been a thing like he was then.
Forever.
Yeah. I mean, they keep using him. They really want him to be popular, but he's never been like he was.
Wasn't
in the
there
late
like a
2000s.
screen test or something? Where
Yes.
they were gonna do that looked really good?
After Smallville, or right before Smallville, or
Oh, so
right
this,
before
so this
Smallville ended.
predated Arrow.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
And then they were name dropping Ted Kord everywhere in the first season of Arrow.
Yeah.
Like as much as the Ferris Air Stop.
Yeah. Well, of course, Deadpool. Like that just went away completely.
Yeah.
Like it was really big, and then that just died down.
No, but that was right around where that started to really pick up steam.
Yep.
And where Deadpool ended up with a lot of books, and people were complaining that he had as many books as Wolverine did, and
Yeah. And now I think we keep him with one monthly and just a bunch of minis.
Yeah, we haven't gone crazy.
He doesn't.
Anymore.
He
I
doesn't
think
still have 3 monthly
I think
books.
we've kind of figured out how to handle him in comics now. Kind of. I mean, I still wish that we did more, serious stories with him, and it wasn't so much just the jokey fourth wall breaking stuff. But
And I don't think Deadpool should show up in other people's comics. Deadpool should only The Marvel universe can come into Deadpool's world. Deadpool shouldn't go into their world because
if he does, it shouldn't turn into a comedy suddenly. I mean, we've seen that done well, right?
Yeah.
Like he's great in Uncanny X-Force.
he is great in Uncanny X-Force.
but
but that's a really reserved Deadpool.
Sure, but I think we should err on the side of changing Deadpool before changing everyone
Yes.
in a
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Because that's almost Deadpool.
But he shouldn't have been an Avenger.
That's almost Deadpool through that team's perspective.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I think a lot of times when Deadpool enters somebody's book, we are now looking at that book through Deadpool's eyes.
I want to go back and reread Joe Kelly before Deadpool 2 comes out.
Yeah, I would like to do that too.
Have you ever done it?
I've never read all of it. I
Okay.
read the first 2 trades of his run, which is
I've been all the way through him.
was that
The classics-
3 and 4
Yeah,
of
okay.
the classics. I
Yeah,
think.
I've read through 5. And I think that's all of him. I think by the time you get to 6, it's somebody else, but I might be wrong about
Maybe
that.
I only read through 3.
Okay.
I've only read some of him, and I adored it, but I never read all of it. Because he has like a 40-issue run.
That's one of those things where I was like, this is not my thing, but it's really
Someone
done.
sent them to you, didn't they?
Yeah. But I don't have them anymore.
And you
it was a borrow.
You reviewed each volume in a video. I
did.
remember that.
I did in very much the same way I did No Man's Land.
You know, I will say...
It is really easy to not talk about this, about the material we're looking at right now, because it's kind of just one big fight I don't care about.
I will say, I don't actually dislike this animation. I dislike the character designs for Batman and Superman.
You're
the
right.
movie
Everybody
doesn't
else
look
is okay.
bad.
You know, I like their Wonder Woman. I think she looks just fine.
Maybe it's because they're trying to adapt Michael Turner's style, and Michael Turner draws, like, just super sexy women. But, like, all of the women look great in this movie.
That's true, but not all the men look bad.
No, it's just Batman and Superman.
They just need to take lines off their faces, that's all.
And their lips, and I don't know.
That's true, their lips are pretty bad.
I haven't seen what their Bruce Wayne looks like, but I have a feeling that, like, their Bruce Wayne's not going to look good.
They should have
Or
just
will look like a
gone
different
with
person.
a much more traditional, what they're used to animating for them, and then went Michael Turner, everything else, and then just made the costumes Turner, and then just take the faces that you had last movie essentially, and put these costumes on them, and you're fine. Because the costumes aren't the problem. You know, the Michael Turner ears are fine. Just leave all that. I like long-eared Batman. I don't care what anybody says.
I think his ears are a little long here.
I don't mind it.
I like a mid-range. Like, I don't...
And that's one of those things where I'm like, I might have complained about that in the rewind. I don't even remember. I like it right
Frank
now.
Miller's the only guy I like that does the stubby ears.
Yeah.
I don't like tall, and I don't like really stubby. I like in the middle. I like Neil Adams
I've talked
ears.
to people that want everything to be Miller ears, and like Batman almost without ears, and I don't know.
No, Neil Adams ears is where I'm, like, you know, about here. Like, Dark Knight is a good length of ear.
You know, one of the first places to do short Batman ears was 60s Batman.
Yeah. I don't like them there either.
Yeah. I think they do a pretty good job of making this action kind of visceral.
Yeah.
There's places where you'll have a pretty heavy hit and the screen shakes a little bit. Like, I think that's pretty effective.
You know, this fight scene is well done. It's a little long, but it's well done. I mean, it's a siege. I don't know if you could really complain it's too long. Like,
that's fair.
They're going through
it's
stages.
a Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I'm disconnected from this, though, is because the Doomsday fight was too easy. Like, it was an army of Doomsdays, and they just had no problem with them. Like, when Superman takes out...
they also had an army of Amazonians.
But that's not why they took him out. It was just Superman and his E-Vision. You didn't need the
That's
Amazonians.
they're mindless monsters. These are not mindless. These are people. I think that would be my explanation. Because
that's the explanation for why he can't just show up and do it. But if he's that powerful, it still makes it hard to really appreciate this fight. You know what I mean? Where it's just, well, Superman's not here. Like, I mean, I get that. He's not going to heat vision them like that, but...
She even smiles like the Creeper. I'm not sure if they're just similar designs or if they're intentionally putting some Creeper into that character.
Another one of those things where they put in a B word and it's totally unnecessary.
Yeah, there's been, like, no swearing in this movie.
This just doesn't feel like an especially adult story.
So
that stuff is forced in.
No, the girls are.
I'm not a prude. I don't have a problem with that word, but it's the only thing that makes me question whether I could show this to my kids. It's weird.
I mean,
well, okay, there's blood and stuff.
Well, and the girls' costumes are a little skimpier than I think. You wouldn't put these girls in a Saturday morning cartoon.
That's true, but none of that is necessary for this material. Then,
but
like,
the material itself.
You also take all that out too.
Yeah.
But you could say the same thing about Jeff Loeb's comics, I think, because
That's true.
Because he's aiming at a more adult audience, but he's giving us not especially sophisticated material. And this is where I go to sleep. Like, I'm done with this movie at this point.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to be responsible for anything she does. Man, how many times have I given the speech? Are you sick of the speech? I'm sick of the speech. I'm not even going to give the speech. Everyone knows what I'm going to say.
So when I'm not... Okay.
I'm so sick of this.
So what I'm about to say is 99% probably not true. But the way they animated Superman for a moment looked a lot like Fist of the North Star. Like the way his hair looked very Fist of the North Star.
I don't know what that is.
It's an anime / manga.
I don't know what that is.
And there's a very climactic scene basically at the end of the first arc where there's a character up at the top on a chair and there's a bunch of stairs, and I don't think it's intentional, but I don't know.
The only remote hint at all that you have of Supergirl having a dark side before this is she put on skimpy black clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't even give you any sense that it was like a dark side. It was just she's like trying different things and
likes
thinks
how
that
she
looks
looks.
cool, and she likes how she looks. Yeah, that's it. And it doesn't even matter if she has a dark side because we haven't said that Darkseid's tapping into it or anything.
Is that how you would react?
He just reprograms her. The end.
If you came home,
I like that symbol.
And Apollo had smoke billowing out of his nose and mouth, you're just like, oh, I must have ate something. It'll be fine. I mean, I don't know what it's like on Apocalypse. Maybe it's like, burning things. I don't know.
Now I want to do some kind of like Greek mythology thing where I cast my little dog as Cerberus and I just digitally give it 3 heads.
Like whatever that dog in
That would be
Harry Potter
hilarious.
is called.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a Cerberus. I don't know what it's called, but...
Yeah, it has a name. I don't know what its name is. I used to know when I was like 10. I would have had that knowledge like that.
That was always one of my favorite things in Greek mythology. I mean, all the hell stuff in general.
Yeah, the hell stuff's great.
I love, the underworld, but... And... Sharon the Ferryman and the River Styx and...
Okay, here's my question about this entire story. This film and the comic books.
Okay.
Why Apocalypse? Why Darkseid? Why is this the story that needs to be told with the origin of Supergirl?
Supergirl. It feels like just putting 2 random things together.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Jeff Loeb likes to do a lot.
Yeah. I don't know why this needs to be this. Because, like, when you have Wonder Woman and you have the New Gods, like, immediately my brain goes, okay, we need to be doing something with mythology.
Yes.
And new mythology and old mythology. We're not doing anything with new mythology and old. There's no reason for Wonder Woman and the New Gods to be interacting here, other than, for some reason, we chose Apocalypse and Darkseid for this Supergirl story, and I don't know why.
There's not any interesting thematic connection between them. There's not any...
I guess they're also alien.
Okay.
I guess.
The idea of Supergirl trying to be an Amazon could have been interesting.
Yeah.
But again, what does that have to do with Apocalypse? Like, I get putting her with Wonder Woman before I get putting her here.
It would make
before
way
I get
more
bringing
sense.
in New Gods. Yeah, you're right. We only brought in New Gods because we have other god things, right? So we have the Greek mythology, so we do that mythology. Why?
But it would make way more sense if this was essentially like a Wonder Woman story. If we go to Wonder Woman and then like Ares shows up or something, like that makes more sense to me for the story we're telling. I don't know why we're doing New Gods.
What?
I love scenes like this where it's like, you're mind controlled, I'm really sorry, but I have to beat you to a bloody pulp.
My name is Superman, and here's my justification. See, like, I guess, and again, it's just been a while since I've watched this and we're talking over it, but, like, I guess, Darkseid was going after her and knew she was there, but he didn't put her there. Like, I just don't know what Batman's talking about at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
And we don't make it about him being paranoid, so that line was just kind of pointless.
Yeah, this is not Batman's smartest decision in the world.
No, it would be really funny if this is when he gets sent back in time.
Yeah, look, I know this is a comic book and superheroes and whatnot. What Darkseid is supposed to be, if he punched Batman through a pillar
You're
or
done.
did this,
Yeah, he's dead.
His ribs should be shattered. His back should be
yeah.
broken. Like
that pushes us maybe.
This
too
is like a
far
fighting game.
beyond the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Because when Morrison does it, he never touches him.
And he's not like
it's just Omega beams,
and he's not like armored up like he is when he's fighting Superman in Dark Knight Returns. Like, Batman is dead. Like, Darkseid's really powerful. Like,
and again, you can see Batman feeling the need to be involved if he's really emotionally invested in Supergirl, which is why they need more time together at the beginning, but only in a like strategic kind of way. He shouldn't be doing anything physical here. And I guess he's like, well, I've got Orion's, hover seat thing, so I'm good. But and like it's the animated movie, and it's an action-driven thing, and his name is in the title, and we can't figure out how to get him in this movie anyway. So we have him here physically. Wouldn't it be Wouldn't it make way more sense if he was in the Batcave just talking to someone?
Yeah.
Just giving advice, like.
I know that's not actioning, and people would complain like that. Well, Batman's not, but like Batman doesn't belong. This plays by fighting game rules. Like this is like Injustice, where it's like you be Batgirl, I'm gonna be General Zod, and this fight is gonna go equal.
Even if he was in a big giant mech suit or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy that more.
Yeah.
Like if he showed up with a Snyder mech suit, but like we're way before mech Batman. I mean, I guess not. Batman had done it. And
the last movie had a big giant mech suit.
Well, yeah. I was thinking more the smaller. Yeah.
Not like
but the Batman does it.
But
that's how he fights
like
Bane.
That.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm thinking about the movie versus the comic. Yeah.
And there's not a huge leap between the thing he is fighting Superman in Dark Knight Returns and a mech suit. There's not a huge leap there.
Yeah. No, you're right. Is the movie just over?
No, because we have to have Darkseid on a farm.
I was brainwashed, and I'm not responsible for anything I may have done, which, by the way, I didn't do anything, except I attacked you a little bit.
That's true, she really didn't do all that much. That was just an excuse to get her in a, evil costume.
No, and it completely takes away her agency by just making her brainwashed.
Yeah.
Because now the movie's not actually about her as a character.
It's not.
It makes way more sense if she's a Darkseid that can be appealed to by Darkseid, because then it's about her as a person. This is not about her as a person.
You could. This is not as interesting as what you're talking about. You could make it about the ways in which someone who has a lot of power can be victimized and turned into a weapon, where that's not something she had to deal with on Krypton because she didn't have these powers.
But then that needs to be the opening of the movie.
It does. It needs to be what the movie's about. Like the idea that you show up and you find out you have these powers, and immediately someone tries to take advantage of you, where you're like, not only do I have this massive responsibility to help people with these powers and do the right thing with them, but I also have to protect them so that I'm not turned into a weapon, and like, how do I do all this and try to figure out who I want to be? I'm just a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a lot to throw on me at once.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the movie's really about any of that.
No, I'm not really sure what the movie's... Like, I know what it thinks it's... Because I think it thinks it's kind of about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just not.
And I think just...
She was her first friend. She spent the entire day out with Clark doing shopping stuff.
Yeah, but that doesn't count, because she kind of considers
their
him
family,
almost...
sure.
And their family, and he and Batman are playing parents, and... That just seems like kind of an obligatory tragedy that doesn't really do much.
And I'd forgotten she died.
Yeah.
There's so much that happens.
You spent no time with her.
They built that statue really fast. The Amazonians, they build fast.
They don't mess around.
They don't have much else to do. Like, they don't have TV or, they just build statues. Their statue builders were as good as their warriors are warriors.
That makes you wonder how long it took for the city to get built. Like, you'd think a few years, but it might have been a couple afternoons.
Themyscira was built in a day.
And on the second day, they rested.
It's a 2-day week.
Stores are not allowed to be open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Those are the resting days.
Saturday, Sunday get kind of awkward because you have 2 days in a row in there, and you're supposed to take off every other day. That's fun.
2,501. Is that a more?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes, and I like that it is the corn capital of the world, and
that's what it traditionally is.
Yeah.
And is that what it is in Smallville before the meteor?
I think so.
Okay.
I can't remember now. You see, I'm hesitating saying that. I think it said Queen Corn Cap, if memory serves, but I forget. But yeah, before the meteor shower hits, it's already like 25,000, and then it doubles because of meteor shower. Nothing about any of that makes sense, and this is the size that town should have been in the first place.
All right, so
maybe a little bigger, maybe 6,000 or 7,000. I grew up in a town that size that, at least part of my childhood, that looks about like what I would imagine Smallville would. But when I go back to Morrilton, Arkansas, I see Smallville. Like, that's...
All right, so...
Yeah.
They drove up in a truck.
Yes, they did.
Does Clark Kent strike you as a truck guy in Metropolis?
Maybe
he should drive up
borrowed it?
Maybe?
I don't think he drove it from Metropolis, do you? Wouldn't you think they probably, like, flew somewhere and then maybe rented it?
A car?
I have no idea.
But then why not just fly to the farm?
Look, I don't know. I know, because they needed to drive, so they had an excuse to put the sign in there.
You could have flown over it.
You could have, but that's not what they decided to do. And I think that
I think it's weird that he drove
from
up
that perspective
with a truck, because, like, it makes more sense that Jonathan has a truck. Clark doesn't have
I know. Well, Clark shouldn't own a vehicle in Metropolis. It's New York.
That's true.
He doesn't drive.
That was a great shot. He looked great there.
So, I've always thought it's hilarious that Darkseid is just waiting around in that house. He doesn't know they're even coming. Why is he there? How would he know they're on their way to this house?
The only thing that I can guess...
Again, we've been talking over this movie, but I think I talked about this in the rewind. I think he's just waiting around until they show up, finally. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, let's not just throw around the word murderer.
Well,
love that.
He's murdered people before.
That's
he just
fun.
grabs his head. Sorry.
Okay, he just did that to Superman. How is Batman alive? Like we're past crutches. Batman should be dead.
He was holding back because he's a big Batman fan.
Okay.
You know...
maybe he can track...
that front kick is pretty darn cool.
Maybe he can track...
Except this whole thing is really stupid.
Supergirl for some reason, somehow. And so, it's not they knew that they were going there, it's that he appears moments before...
He just boom-tubed himself there, knowing she was on her way or something?
Well, no, like... So they're walking up to the house, he boom-tubes to the house, and then comes out.
That makes more sense.
Maybe it's more immediate than... Maybe he's not just, like, sitting... Also, where are the Kents?
So you have...
Thank God they're gone.
I know. They drive up.
Okay.
They drive up. But...
Well, that would have been awkward. They knocked on the door and just
all this field, all over, and Supergirl kicks him into the house. Like, Superman should be pissed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same problem people have with Man of Steel. I think I probably talked about this in the rewind too. Where it's like you have all this field, and you fight the villain into buildings,
your own house.
Into your own house. Yeah,
well, I guess it's his parents' house, but yes, over here, fight me over here. Where's Superman? Is he still up in the sky?
No, that's a bird or a plane.
This is a thing that we like to do in fights, specifically fights like this, where we have like object permanence. We have no object permanence for other characters when we're fighting.
Yep.
Where's Superman? What's he doing? Is he just still like?
I think I talked about that in the rewind
going up in the air.
I spent a.
It's because she needs to be the one that wins
great, though.
And that's that. I like the idea of doing like a.
Did you notice the surprise when she grabs his head? That's pretty cool.
And
he's like, what?
Doing that like martial artsy move where she uses his weight and flips him in front of his own Omega beams. That's a cool move. But there's some really good action in there.
And she just did that same front kick she did that got him into the Kent farm. She keeps doing that same move. It is a fighting game.
Yeah.
Somebody figured out how to do the special move, and they just keep doing it.
Yep. Yep. And
diagonal up, back, and B does this.
And then you flip over.
I can't flip over right now because A, I don't actually have the agility to do that, and B, no space and I'm in a chair. But I had a split second where I was like, I'm going to flip over.
When
and I was like, no, I'm not.
Martial arts?
I know.
So I said that one move was martial artsy, but then because I'm not talking about being able to fight. I'm talking about she goes like this,
she looks
like a martial arts.
She looks trained. Yeah.
That's not what the Amazons would. That's not how the Amazons would hire to fight. They're not martial artists. Like she's specifically doing martial artsy things.
Yeah. Is this supposed to be a payoff of the training she got there?
Maybe.
I didn't even think
it makes
of
more
that.
sense if Batman trained her. But he didn't train her to fight.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
I don't want to be a nerd, but the line is impressive, most impressive, but you are not a Jedi yet.
That's true, it is. That's right. I'm just referencing it.
I know. I know those movies almost line for line, and that was incorrect, sir. That's a really bright sun. It's really close to the Earth.
Look,
You
I've
should
heard
be
that.
worried
I've
about
heard that
this.
quote more than you have, even though you've seen those movies more than me. Because I had an alarm clock that did that.
I had a
Vader alarm clock, and it says impressive, most impressive, but you're not a Jedi.
I had a Christmas tree ornament that said it.
Really?
Yeah.
Or maybe what I had was a bank, but I think it was an alarm clock because I remember hearing it a lot. Bam!
How often do banks beep?
Yeah, it was just when you put like coins in it. But I probably didn't do that much, so I don't know. Anyway.
What happens if you put them? Is he like impressive? You put on impressive. You put on impressive.
I don't know.
Hey, where you going?
Hey, haven't you heard that song? You don't tug on Superman's cape.
Again, right through. He seems to be the one that's
What's he gonna do
aiming-
next? Spit in the wind?
Yeah. He seems to be the one that's aiming at his family's house.
Yeah. No, but she did it too. She kicked him right into
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
The first of the 6 times she did the front kick.
Wait, how does that work? I don't think that's how physics work.
What do you mean?
He went under and he lifted it, and it's just this big dome. Like, usually that's what we do with psychic powers. He just lifted, and the Earth perfectly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's weird. How do you get that chunk of Earth out like that? How do you keep it together?
Okay, so this fight's really good. It's going a little long.
Yeah.
And we just had this big, long action sequence on Apocalypse. This is the ending of a Bond film where, like, oh no, the bad guy or the bad guy's minion isn't dead, and we have one real quick action scene at the end because, surprise, they're not dead.
This is playing as a surprise second climax.
Yeah.
But I don't think the issue is with this scene. I think it's with the previous one. I think the previous one went on too long. And so you play it like a false ending, but like intentionally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then this is your real big finish. The problem is not this scene.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
That his eye is like beat up so it's not open and he can only do the heat vision out of one eye. I like that a lot.
If his heat vision is that powerful and Darkseid is as powerful as he is, why didn't he just do the thing he did to Doomsday?
Yeah.
Because it probably wouldn't kill him.
But it hurt him a lot.
Yeah. Why didn't he just do that? That's part of the problem with that, right?
Yeah, when you introduce things like that, you break the universe.
It's that Lightspeed Last Jedi thing where it's like, okay,
that's
now
exactly
that you've
what I was
seen
thinking
it,
of.
or you're like, why don't you
If
use it?
you don't do this every time now, you're an idiot.
It's going to seem really stupid that you're not doing it. It's too powerful.
Yeah. But again, nothing about this climax is about her. She learned nothing from that. It doesn't,
The
like...
subtitles spell Apocalypse wrong. They
That's
spell it
interesting.
like the title.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All I remember is darkness.
That's the thing we don't always get right in superhero stuff.
Freezing in space?
That you freeze in space, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in Superman 2, where we just talk on the moon.
We're all eagerly waiting to hear what you want. Oh, the tension! They're masters of tension! See, that truck makes sense. Also,
These Kents
they're
are
like
out
40
of
years
the-
at a time.
they're right out of 1938.
Those are the Kents that found Superman in Action Comics #1.
Now, if they had been here to witness this, they would realize that every single thing that's been done to their
Is their
home
fault.
is their fault.
Yeah, luckily they weren't here. So.
Everything. So it's easy for them to be like, no, we fought Darkseid.
We're gonna get the
Go
Amazons.
get the Amazons! They do roofing and... doesn't like suck. It's not unwatchable.
No. Themyscira looks from afar like the Zelda level in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
The one where there's the stages like this.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I've had that thought a couple times in things recently. And couldn't quite put my finger on it. But like, I've seen that somewhere before. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question. Mm-hmm. Would you rather... I'm not even going to say better or worse, because I do think they're two pretty... I like that suit.
Yeah.
They are pretty different things. But would you prefer to watch this movie or the other Superman Batman movie?
Yeah, the Superman Batman movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so I guess I do have an opinion on Supergirl's costume.
Yeah.
I don't like traditional Supergirl with an open belly.
Oh.
If you're going to do this costume, it's got to cover the whole thing. The white shirt, you can do
I like the yellow trim a lot.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just short. Maybe for her arms are short, I'd be okay with it. I don't know what it is. But I don't like traditional Supergirl costume. That's weird. Her skirt is blue. That's weird.
Oh, it is?
I don't like that. But yeah, I don't like traditional Supergirl with the open belly. I don't know. I don't think I like that.
Okay.
I have strong opinions. I'm forming them right now in this moment.
But yeah, they're trying to treat this like she's a free spirit and she's fun and spunky, and we just didn't see enough of that.
Yeah. Try spinning. That's a neat trick. Do a barrel roll.
You'll believe that people can animate Superman and Supergirl flying.
Yeah.
Well, some of that came back.
Yeah. It's... Maybe it's because we were joking, talking over it.
Of course.
But, like, I remember being really checked out by this movie.
Yeah.
And just being like, I don't care.
Well,
like, the last movie was fun.
It's telling.
I'm bored.
I mean, this is a mania. We like this. We like to goof off and say whatever we talk about whatever we want to during these. But like, I think it's telling that we did get off into tangents and didn't always talk about this movie, which has been unusual for us, especially in Batmania.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it a lot. We stayed on point quite a bit, but there was that whole section where we were just talking about what what weird obscure characters were popular in 2010 for like 5 minutes. Yeah. So maybe you were more checked out than you're even letting on.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair. And this is boring. It's nothing. This behind the
blood.
scroll.
There's
it's
blood
a cracked wall with blood.
Blood.
Why? That's the most PG-13 about this movie is the credit crawl.
Yeah, and at this point,
and this feels like we're padding out these credits. This format.
Yeah, just like hurry up. We just wish we could get under it.
Do more.
Yeah.
Why is it like this?
Yeah, not like, oh my god, but like just, more, maybe just scroll these faster. And these are hard to read and look at because they don't take up enough of the screen.
And they shimmer at the bottom. You see that?
People are really complaining about these credits. Oh yeah,
these are the worst credits I've ever seen.
They don't know, and they do it at the top too. It's not shimmering. It's blurry. They have blur lines.
Yeah, why? What is that representing? Is this what Batman saw, like, when he was smashed into the wall? Like, that's supposed to be, like, it's what, I don't know what I'm looking at. Did they accidentally put the credits for, like, a different thing?
But yeah, at this point, with the DC direct-to-video movies, the PG-13 stuff, the adult stuff, is already super obligatory. It's shocking no one. It's surprising no one.
But it's weird because we just watched one that used it so well.
Yeah. But again, it's just obligatory. They're supposed to have that stuff there, so it's there.
Yeah, it's still, they are still making Saturday morning cartoons.
Is what I'm saying. Nobody's looking at this wall going, yeah, now we can have these kinds of things in our...
Yeah, no, they're still making Saturday morning cartoons, but now they say a couple of bad words and there's some blood. They
act like they're so much freer for getting to do that.
Yeah, these are less sophisticated than Justice League and Superman.
Yeah. I mean, those had the luxury of being able to have arcs and things, but even your average 22-minute episode, I think.
Yeah, Justice League Unlimited does some amazing sophisticated stuff in their 22 minutes.
Absolutely. But anyway, there's Superman, Batman, Apocalypse spelled wrong. Supergirl / Superman / Batman, Apocalypse spelled wrong. Thanks so much for watching. We sure appreciate it. Tomorrow, I don't right away remember. It's year one. It's year one. Yeah. So we're gonna do that. So a couple of not great ones back to back. If it's not premature for me to say that.
It's bookended by two really good ones.
That's true.
Probably not probably. the two best Batman
Animated
films
ones.
from the animated line.
That's interesting, and we're having to do like 4 of these in a row.
Yeah. I'm not saying.
And then it's Rises right after that, is it not?
I believe
after
so.
After Dark Knight Returns.
I believe so. I'm not saying that, like, definitively, like, my opinion of those two movies, like, whether I think they're better or worse than Phantasm. I'm just saying, for the DC direct-to-video animated films,
ones, yeah.
I think pretty definitively the two best Batman films are going to sandwich.
Well, that's easy to say, too, because, I mean, for the longest time we said that Under the Red Hood was the only great one they made.
Mm-hmm.
So, I looked at this earlier. Isn't it interesting that Rises comes out in 2012, and then the very next thing we have is 2 years later, and it's Assault on Arkham? There's nothing.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Did we really go that long without a Batman animated?
Yeah, we did.
I felt like we just couldn't get away from, like, it was just like, every year we do Batman, Superman, Justice League.
But that's because that was when they started doing Flashpoint and Justice League, and so you had Batman in things, but he's not in titles.
Okay.
Because remember, we will have already had like 2 or 3 things in their 52 continuity, and I guess they haven't. Let me check the list to make sure I'm right about this, which is while we're still recording. But I don't think they do the first Batman movie in that 52 continuity.
I thought that came out before Throne of Atlantis.
Well, it does, but Throne of Atlantis wasn't until 2015, I don't think. So we have Assault on Arkham, and then we're going to do Lego Batman the movie, and then after that is Son of Batman. And Son of Batman and Batman vs. Robin are right next to each other.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how that
weird.
lines up.
That's weird.
Isn't that strange?
Yep.
So we're about to get into a really weird zone, but I'm excited.
You're about to enter the weird zone.
The weird Batman zone. But I'm excited to go back and visit some things I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously Rises is going to be fascinating because neither of us have seen that in the longest time, and I don't think you've watched it since theaters.
No, but I did see it like 3 times in theaters.
Right.
Because I just like, it can't be what I think it is. It can't be this bad. Like, it has to make sense.
But 6 years in between is going to be really interesting.
No.
I have watched it once or twice. Well, and I did a rewind not too long ago.
And I've talked about that movie enough that I don't... Like, it feels like I've seen that movie 100 times because of how much we've talked about that movie.
Sure. But anyway, so thanks again, folks. We sure appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow, or the weekend, depending on where this falls. I should mention that because we are skipping weekends. But we'll see you really soon with another one. And in the meantime, I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
Thanks again for watching.